The galaxy had conquered thousands of worlds. It had broken empires older than human history. But it was never prepared for one ordinary human, who made a single choice that forced queens, warlords, and entire civilizations to rethink what humanity truly was. No one noticed Elias Verne when he boarded the station that morning. That was the story of his life. Gateway Halo Station floated between three major alien territories, a massive ring of metal and light that existed only because every species needed neutral ground. Elias worked there as a civilian emergency systems engineer. Not a soldier. Not a diplomat. Just a man who fixed things after disasters happened. He preferred it that way. The station was loud, crowded, and alive with tension. Alien traders argued in languages Elias couldn't pronounce. Security drones hovered like mechanical insects. Royal banners from distant empires shimmered across the main concourse. Today was special. The Aurelian Queen, ruler of one of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy, was arriving with her only daughter. Security was absolute. Weapons were locked down. Emergency systems were on high alert. Elias hated days like this. Royal visits meant pressure. Pressure meant mistakes. Mistakes meant explosions. He was checking a plasma stabilizer near Dock 7 when his wrist console vibrated. Unauthorized energy fluctuation detected. Elias frowned. That wasn't possible. Dock 7 was under triple-layer security, monitored by alien tech far beyond human standards. He checked again. The reading spiked. Then spiked again. His instincts screamed. Across the dock, the Aurelian royal vessel shimmered as it finished docking. The ship looked alive, grown instead of built, its surface glowing softly like a sleeping creature. Alien guards formed ceremonial lines as the boarding ramp extended. The Queen emerged first. She was tall, radiant, and terrifying in her calm authority. The galaxy feared her not because she was cruel, but because she was precise. Behind her walked the princess. Younger. Curious. Less guarded. Elias's console screamed again. Critical overload imminent. He looked at Dock 7's power grid schematic. Someone had rerouted energy. Deliberately. His breath caught. This wasn't an accident. Elias didn't wait for permission. He ran. Shouts followed him as he crossed security lines. Guards yelled in alien tongues. Warning drones flashed red. None of it mattered. The explosion hit before anyone could stop him. Light swallowed the dock. Metal screamed. The royal ship buckled as a hidden charge detonated beneath its core stabilizer. The blast tore through the platform, throwing guards like dolls. Elias hit the ground hard, ears ringing, vision swimming. Through the smoke, he saw her. The princess. Trapped. A section of the ramp had collapsed, pinning her beneath twisted alien alloy. Flames licked the air around her, reacting violently with the station's atmosphere. Alien guards hesitated. The fire was unstable. The ship's core was failing. Protocol demanded retreat. Elias didn't know their rules. He only knew someone was going to die. He forced himself up, ignoring the pain screaming through his body. His hands burned as he tore at the wreckage. The metal was hot, sharper than anything human-made. The princess stared at him with wide, glowing eyes. "Don't move," Elias said, though he wasn't sure she understood. He pulled harder. The structure shifted. The alarms changed pitch. The ship's core began to collapse. Elias wrapped his body over hers just as another blast ripped through the dock. Heat. Pain. Darkness. When Elias woke, the universe was quiet. Too quiet. Soft light surrounded him. Alien symbols glowed across smooth walls. His body felt heavy, broken, but alive. A voice spoke nearby. "He survives." Another voice replied, cold and controlled. "He should not have." Elias turned his head. The Aurelian Queen stood at the edge of the chamber, her eyes fixed on him with an intensity that froze his blood. The princess stood beside her, unharmed. Alive. The Queen stepped forward. "You are the human," she said. "The one who defied instinct, logic, and survival." Elias swallowed. Yes. Silence stretched. Then the Queen spoke words that would echo across the galaxy. Because of you, my daughter lives. And in Aurelian law, such a debt cannot be repaid with gratitude alone. Her gaze hardened. It must be answered with destiny. Elias Verne had faced danger before. Exploding reactors. Vacuum breaches. Structural collapses that turned entire corridors into death traps. But none of that prepared him for standing awake and helpless beneath the gaze of a queen whose single word could end civilizations. The Aurelian queen did not raise her voice. She did not need to. The room itself seemed to listen to her. Elias lay on a medical platform grown from living crystal, thin threads of light wrapped around his body, sealing burns and mending fractures with alien precision. He felt weak, heavy, and painfully aware that he was very small in this moment. You saved my daughter, the Queen said again, as if testing the words. You ignored your own survival. You acted without calculation. The princess stepped closer. Her eyes, still wide with memory, never left Elias. He shielded me, she said quietly. When the fire came. A ripple passed through the Queen's posture. Not anger. Not grief. Respect. Humans, the Queen said slowly, are spoken of often in this galaxy. Loud. Emotional. Dangerous in large numbers. But rarely selfless. Elias swallowed. His throat was dry. I didn't think, he said. I just moved. That, the Queen replied, is precisely why the galaxy fears you without understanding you. Outside the chamber, alarms echoed faintly. The station was still in chaos. Reports flowed through the Queen's attendants in sharp bursts of alien language. The attack had not been random. It had been precise. Political. Someone wanted the princess dead. And failed. Your people, the Queen continued, would have let my guards handle it. They would have followed rules. Elias forced himself to sit up despite the pain. Rules didn't matter. The Queen's eyes narrowed slightly. No, she said. They did not. The chamber doors opened again. This time, alien commanders entered, their armor scorched, expressions grim. One knelt immediately. The attackers were not station personnel. False identities. Technology traced to multiple factions. The Queen's jaw tightened. They wanted chaos, she said. They wanted war. Her gaze returned to Elias. And you denied them that future. The princess looked at him then, not as a rescued victim, but as something else. Something heavier. Elias felt it. The weight of consequence. Under Aurelian law, the Queen said, saving royal blood creates an unbreakable bond. A debt that cannot be measured in currency, territory, or apology. Elias's pulse quickened. He had read enough galactic history to know what that meant. Debts between empires reshaped star maps. I don't want payment, he said quickly. I just want to go home. A murmur passed through the chamber. The Queen did not smile. You misunderstand, she said. This is not a reward. She turned, addressing her advisors, her guards, the unseen witnesses recording every second of this moment. This is acknowledgement. Her voice carried beyond the chamber, transmitted instantly across diplomatic networks, security channels, and media relays throughout known space. Let it be known, the Queen declared, that a human stood between death and the future of my people. Elias's breath caught. The princess stepped forward and placed her hand over her chest, a gesture Elias did not recognize but somehow understood. I owe you my life, she said. And more than that. I owe you truth. The Queen raised one hand. Silence, she said gently. This must be done properly. She faced Elias once more. You acted without asking what it would cost you, the Queen said. Now you will learn what it has cost the galaxy. The chamber lights shifted. A holographic display formed between them, showing star systems Elias recognized only vaguely. Human colonies. Trade routes. Borders constantly challenged by stronger alien powers. Humanity, the Queen said, stands at a crossroads. You are tolerated, useful, but never respected. Elias clenched his fists. He had known that truth his entire life. Your species survives because you adapt, she continued. But adaptation is not the same as authority. The hologram shifted. Aurelian fleets. Massive. Untouchable. You saved my daughter, the Queen said. And by doing so, you have earned the right to change that balance. The room went silent. Elias stared at her. I don't understand. The Queen leaned closer. I am offering you something no human has ever been offered. His heart hammered. Across the galaxy, screens lit up. Alien councils froze mid-session. Military leaders stopped speaking. Traders paused their negotiations. The Queen's next words spread faster than any weapon ever built. I will bind you to my house, she said. By law. By blood. By future. Elias's breath hitched. You will stand as my chosen kin. Gasps echoed throughout the chamber. The princess's eyes widened, not in fear, but in shock. Mother! This is my decree, the Queen said firmly. The galaxy will not ignore humanity any longer. She looked directly into Elias's eyes. You will be known as the human who cannot be dismissed. Elias's mind raced. This wasn't marriage. This wasn't politics alone. This was transformation. If you accept, the Queen said, humanity gains protection no empire will challenge lightly. And if I refuse? Elias asked quietly. The Queen studied him for a long moment. Then the galaxy remains exactly as it is, she said. And the next attack will succeed. Silence fell again. Elias looked at the princess. At the stars flickering in the hologram. At the future pressing down on a single human decision. He had run into fire without thinking. Now he had to choose while thinking very carefully. And the galaxy waited. The silence after the Queen's offer was heavier than any explosion Elias had ever survived. Every instinct in him screamed that this moment was dangerous. Not because of weapons or threats, but because words spoken here would ripple across the galaxy forever. He was not a politician. He was not a hero by choice. He was just a human who had acted when someone needed help. And now entire civilizations waited for his response. Elias took a slow breath. Pain flared in his chest, reminding him that his body had paid a price already. His mind, however, was painfully clear. You're asking me to become a symbol, he said. The Queen inclined her head slightly. Symbols shape history. Elias looked at the hologram again. Human colonies glowed faintly, scattered and fragile compared to the massive territories of older empires. My people didn't ask for protection, Elias said. They asked for a chance. A murmur spread through the chamber. The Queen's advisors exchanged looks. No one interrupted. You think binding me to your house gives humans power, Elias continued. But power borrowed can be taken back. The princess watched him closely now, her expression thoughtful rather than fearful. What would you choose instead? The Queen asked. Elias met her gaze. I choose partnership, he said. The word echoed. Not ownership. Not debt. Not obligation, Elias said. Respect. The Queen studied him in silence. Elias pushed himself further upright, ignoring the protests of alien medical systems. I saved your daughter because she was a person in danger, he said. Not because she was royal. Not because she mattered more than anyone else. The princess's breath caught. If I stand beside your house, Elias continued, it will be because humanity stands beside yours. Not beneath it. For the first time since entering the chamber, the Queen looked genuinely surprised. Humans, she said slowly, are remarkably bold when injured. Elias almost smiled. That's when we're most honest. Outside the chamber, reactions spread like wildfire. Diplomatic channels exploded with speculation. Alien councils argued. Human representatives watched in stunned silence as one of their own spoke to a galactic ruler without fear. The Queen turned away, pacing slowly, her robe shimmering like liquid starlight. "You reject the protection of my fleets," she said. "You reject the certainty of power." "I reject a future where humans owe their survival to anyone," Elias replied. She stopped. "And what do you offer in return?" she asked. Elias didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached for his wrist console. The guards tensed. Energy signatures spiked. "Let him," the princess said quietly. Elias activated the device. A new hologram formed. Human designs. Ships. Infrastructure. Not sleek like Aurelian vessels. Not elegant. But adaptable. Modular. Clever. "This is what humans do best," Elias said. "We build with what we have. We connect systems that weren't meant to work together. We survive in places no one else wants." The hologram shifted to show disaster response scenarios. Human engineers repairing alien stations. Medical teams adapting treatments across species. Supply chains rerouted in minutes instead of weeks. "We don't dominate," Elias said. "We integrate." The Queen's eyes narrowed, not in anger, but in focus. "You offer cooperation," she said. "Without chains." "Yes," Elias said. "And accountability. On both sides." The chamber was silent again. Then the princess stepped forward. "Mother," she said. "He is right." The Queen turned sharply. "The galaxy already fears humans," the princess continued. "Not because they are strong, but because they are unpredictable." Her eyes met Elias's. "And unpredictability can be strength." The Queen looked between them. Between tradition and possibility. Between control and trust. "You would tie the fate of your species to uncertainty," the Queen said to Elias. Elias nodded. "We already live there." The Queen laughed. It was a soft sound, but it sent shockwaves through every broadcast channel. "Very well," she said. "Then let the galaxy witness something new." She raised her hand. "By royal decree," she announced, "the debt owed to Elias Verne shall not bind him to my bloodline, but to my council." Gasps erupted. "Humanity will be granted a permanent seat at Aurelian strategic negotiations," the Queen continued. "Not as subjects. Not as vassals. As equals." Across the galaxy, empires reeled. A human seat at the table. Unthinkable. "You will represent your people," the Queen said to Elias. "And in doing so, you will ensure they are never ignored again." Elias felt the weight of it crash into him. "I'm not qualified," he said honestly. The Queen smiled then. Truly smiled. "Neither was I," she said. "When I inherited an empire." The princess stepped closer, her voice low. "You changed everything," she said. Elias exhaled slowly. "I just said no," he replied. The Queen's expression hardened once more. "Make no mistake," she said. "Your choice has consequences." The hologram shifted again. Unknown fleets gathering in dark space. Rivals who would not accept humanity's rise peacefully. "Some will see this as provocation," the Queen said. "They will test you." Elias looked at the threat projections. At the coming storm. He straightened. "Then we'll adapt," he said. "Like we always do." The Queen nodded. "Then prepare yourself, Elias Verne," she said. "Because the galaxy is about to learn something it has forgotten." "What's that?" he asked. Her eyes gleamed. "That humans do not rise because they are allowed to. They rise because they refuse to stay down." The galaxy did not accept change quietly. Within days of the Queen's declaration, reaction spread faster than any fleet. Ancient alliances trembled. Trade routes stalled. Military commands whispered the same question in different languages. How did humans earn this? The answer frightened them. Because it wasn't force. It wasn't conquest. It was choice. Elias Verne stood inside the Aurelian Council chamber for the first time, feeling painfully human among beings who had ruled stars for millennia. The chamber was vast and alive, its walls shifting colors in response to emotion and tension. Representatives from dozens of species watched him from elevated platforms. Some with curiosity. Some with open hostility. Some with fear. "You do not belong here," a Threxian warlord hissed, his armored limbs clicking against the floor. "Your species is young. Weak. Chaotic." Elias kept his voice calm. "Every species here was once young," he said. "You survived because someone didn't erase you early." A ripple of reaction moved through the chamber. The Aurelian queen sat at the center, silent, observing. The princess stood beside her, posture steady, eyes alert. A hologram flared to life without warning. Unidentified fleets. Massive. Advancing. An alarm tone vibrated through the chamber. "Coalition forces detected," an aide announced. "Multiple empires. Non-Aurelian authorization." The message was clear. This was retaliation. "They challenge your decree," the warlord said to the queen. "And you're human." The queen did not move. "Let them," she replied. Elias felt the weight settle in his chest. He had known this would come. The galaxy did not forgive shifts in power. It tested them. "What is humanity's response?" a counselor demanded. All eyes turned to Elias. He took a breath. "Not war," he said. Laughter echoed from several delegates. "You face annihilation," one sneered. Elias nodded. "We know," he said. "That's when we're most creative." He activated his console. The chamber filled with unfamiliar projections. Not weapons. Not fleets. Networks. Supply lines. Communication relays. Adaptive defense grids built from civilian infrastructure. "We don't outgun you," Elias said. "We outthink scenarios." Human engineers across the galaxy had already begun working. Modular shield harmonics retuned to alien frequencies. Emergency evacuation corridors disguised as trade routes. Civilian ships capable of reconfiguring mid-flight. "They expect fleets," Elias continued. "So we won't give them targets." The Queen's eyes narrowed with interest. "Humanity doesn't win wars," Elias said. "We make them too expensive to continue." The coalition fleets advanced anyway. They fired first. Energy tore through empty space where command ships should have been. There were none. Human vessels scattered, fragmented, vanished into electromagnetic noise and false signatures. Alien weapons systems struggled to lock onto anything real. Meanwhile, human teams boarded disabled enemy ships, not to destroy them, but to shut them down. Cut power. Seal weapons. Evacuate crews. Broadcast surrender instructions in every known language. Confusion spread through the coalition. This was not how wars worked. Reports flooded the council chamber. Enemy logistics failing. Communication interference traced to human-built relay nodes embedded years ago in harmless trade infrastructure. "They prepared for this," the warlord snarled. Elias shook his head. "No," he said. "We prepared for survival." The princess watched the feeds, all growing in her expression. "They're not attacking," she whispered. "They're saving lives." The queen smiled faintly. Within hours, the coalition stalled. Within a day, it fractured. No glorious battle. No decisive strike. Just a slow realization that continuing meant bleeding resources, credibility, and lives with nothing to gain. A message arrived. Ceasefire request. The chamber erupted. Elias exhaled. "That's humanity," he said quietly. "We don't need to win. We just need to endure." The queen rose from her seat. "Let it be recorded," she declared, "that humanity faced annihilation and answered with restraint." Her gaze swept the chamber. The galaxy will remember this. Elias felt the tension ease, but he knew this was not the end. Power had shifted, and power always demanded a final price. The princess stepped beside him. "They will never underestimate you again," she said. Elias looked at the stars. "I hope they learn instead." The galaxy did not celebrate. It recalculated. In council chambers, in military academies, in trade hubs and border worlds, the same conclusion was reached again and again. Humans had changed the rules. They had faced destruction and answered with control. They had been given power and refused ownership. They had stood at the edge of galactic politics and reshaped it without firing a single decisive shot. That frightened everyone. Elias Verne felt none of the triumph people expected. He stood alone on an observation deck overlooking the endless curve of space, watching stars drift slowly past the station's reinforced glass. His injuries had healed, but something heavier remained. Responsibility. The princess joined him quietly. "You should be resting," she said. Elias smiled faintly. "I've done enough lying down for one lifetime." They stood in silence for a moment. "You could have taken more," she said. "Protection. Status. Wealth." Elias shook his head. "Then none of this would have mattered." She studied him carefully. "You are different from what the galaxy expected," she said. "So are humans," Elias replied. Behind them, the doors opened. The Queen entered without ceremony. The station quieted instinctively. "Elias Verne," the Queen said. "The galaxy has spoken." He turned. "And?" he asked. "It resists," she said honestly. "But it adapts." She gestured, and a final hologram formed. A new charter. Human representation formalized. Shared defense compacts. Mutual disaster response networks. Technology exchanges not as tribute, but as collaboration. "This is what I offered you," the Queen said. "And what you reshaped." She stepped closer. "But there is one final matter." Elias felt it then. The real reason she had come. "You saved my daughter," the Queen said. "And you changed the fate of your species." The princess lowered her head respectfully. "In Aurelian tradition," the Queen continued, "such an act still demands a personal answer." Elias held his breath. The Queen's eyes locked onto his. "I offered you blood," she said. "You refused." "I offered you power," she said. "You redirected it." She paused. "So now I offer you something else." The galaxy listened. "I offer you trust," the Queen said. She turned, addressing every channel, every empire, every world. "From this day forward, humanity is not a rising power." She raised her hand. "Humanity is a cornerstone." Shock rippled outward. No empire may act against humanity without answering to the combined response of those who stand with them, the Queen declared. Then she looked back at Elias. "And you," she said softly, "will not rule." Elias blinked. "You will not command fleets. You will not wear a crown," the Queen said. Relief washed through him. "You will be what humans do best," she finished. "A bridge." Elias exhaled. The princess smiled. "You scared them," she said quietly. Elias shook his head. "I showed them we care." The Queen inclined her head, a gesture rarely given. "The galaxy believed humans were dangerous because they were emotional," she said. Her gaze sharpened. "They were wrong. They are dangerous because they choose." The observation deck lights dimmed as stars filled the view. Somewhere beyond them, new alliances formed. Old grudges faded. Future conflicts waited. Humanity would stumble. Humanity would struggle. But never again would it be ignored. Elias Verne looked out at the galaxy and felt something he never had before. Not pride. Not power. Belonging. And across the stars, civilizations adjusted their histories. Because the day a human ran into fire to save a single life was the day the galaxy learned that humanity was never small.